You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. President Edgar Lungu's eligibility case back in court. UPND challenges PF General Conference. Formulation of the 8th National Development Plan on course. In international news, Egyptian journalist KHALED DAWOUD freed from jail. And in sports news, CHANSA appointed as YAMOTO head coach. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Are you a qualified, impartial and professional journalist, news editor, video editor or newscaster? Camnet TV is looking for more professionals in the media industry. For more details, call 0962 965883 or send your details to our email info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. United Party for National Development has given the ruling Patriotic Front 48 hours to reconvene its party convention in order to fulfill the constitutional requirement. UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa says failure by the PF to reconvene a convention will prompt them to take the matter before the Constitution to block any member of the Patriotic Front from finding in any candidate to participate in the forthcoming general elections. He says there was no ballot cast during the PF convention, hence that does not amount to an election but selection. But he says the PF must also hold a credible convention in order to fulfill the constitutional provisions to avoid being disqualified from contesting the polls. More in this report.
A week is yet to elapse since the governing Patriotic Front held its party convention to put in place a new leadership in readiness for the August 12 general elections. The conference was led by President Edgar Lungu, who affirmed the PF's continuity beyond 2021, claiming that the party is commanding the support of many Zambians. According to the Zambian Constitution, Article 16, subsection C, a political party has the right to conduct primary elections for the selection of candidates. Just like other political parties, the PF believes it fulfilled the constitutional mandate. But the opposition United Party for National Development claims that the PF convention was not properly held. UPND spokesperson Cornelius Mwetwa has since given the ruling Patriotic Front 48 hours to reconvene a party convention or risks taking the matter to the Constitutional Court.
Failure to which we as UPND are taking this matter to the Constitutional Court to block the Patriotic Front from filing any candidates to participate in the elections for failure to hold a convention. A convention entails elections. Elections imply casting of votes and ballots. No votes or ballots were cast during the PF convention. We now have a situation where there are people who are in the MCC, member of Central Committee of PF, and there is a rebellion with the, some members saying, how come this one, like Honorable Kakoma, has just joined last week, he is now a member of the Central Committee. All those issues are because there was no election.
But in response, PF Media Director Sunday Chanda said Mr. Mwetwa's claims are baseless, further advising the UPND to produce its party constitution, which he said is dictatorial.
So we join the many Zambians that for many years and under different governments have challenged UPND to put its constitution in the public domain, or at least publish it in full, even on their own official Facebook page. What are they hiding? What are they ashamed of? Is it that bad? As bad as their plagiarized manifesto? So we challenge Mr. Cornelius Mwetwa to instead release the UPND party constitution. We are giving him 48 hours to release the UPND.
The substance of the counter-arguments especially on holding of intra-party elections, can only be ascertained by the courts of law. For now, we can only wait and see. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
The Kafumba-led National Democratic Congress has preempted the Beans Chishimba Kambwili claims that he will spill about the United Party for National Development UPND alliance in order to seek allegiance to the Patriotic Front. NDC Vice President Edward Mumbi has told a media briefing in Lusaka Tuesday that Mr. Kambwili plans to, among other things, accuse the UPND alliance of disregarding him when they form the next government. He says opposition will be implicated of allegedly trying to fire all civil servants and replace them with Tongas and Lozis, as well as would temper with the hierarchy of the security wing's leadership. But Mr. Mumbi says the UPND alliance holds no such agenda other than progressive inclusive development. Meanwhile, NDC President Joseph Akafumba, who called for civility among political leaders, has stated that politics of insults, which made Mr. Kambwili as a hero, has now landed him in problems. More in this report.
The National Democratic Congress, NDC, has continued in its ongoing back and forth affairs, just like it was witnessed during the 2015-2016 general elections among political parties. It has been injunction and counter-injunction, but at this junction, the Akafumba-led camp claims to have the last celebration. As things stand, they are said to have authority over the party by registration as per existing documentation at the Registrar of Societies and pending court restraining orders on the Chishimba Kambwili-led camp. Mr. Akafumba has declared all appointments made by Chishimba Kambwili, including the recent appointment of Savoy Imboela as NDC Vice President, as now and void, as the appointee has no legitimacy to do so.
He has gone back to apologize. But I want to advise him, sir, Bakambwili, that's not enough. You need to apologize to all of us here, the people you misled, and apologize to the Zambian people.
Even to God.
And to God. Because what you committed was blasphemy. You asked God to give you an answer where I got wrong from. That's where he has gone. All those appointments that were made are declared null and void immediately now.
Yes.
I'm saying so from a firm stand that I am the registered Vice President, but now acting as President of the NDC. If he has any contrary document to show, let him show where he's drawing those powers. Me, I've told you, I'm drawing my powers from this one.
In the meantime, NDC Vice President Edward Mumbi has dispelled claims that the UPND alliance would steer a tribal agenda in the governance system of the country, saying the alliance has a clear development plan for the country. He says Mr. Kambwili's intentions of rejoining the PF are an attempt to influence the outcome of the pending court cases. He is hopeful that the due process of the law will prevail without any interference.
I said in the other part, which he wants to spill the beans, any sensible leader does not talk about the army, our security wings. You don't bring these institutions into cheap politics, the politics we are practicing today. Cheap politics. You want to talk about the army chief, the deputy army commander, you want to talk about the office of the president, HH is going to remove all these people. You don't do that, because that is not true. In removing those people, there is a procedure, even if you are president. We should not involve our military, our special branch, our police, our civil servants in our politics. Civil servants are professional.
And NDC National Chairperson, Father Richard Luonde, also shared his views during the press conference.
For us to be called names and be insulted, they are not insulting us, but insulting the people of Zambia. And God, our Creator, who is saying, "Abana Zambia bachula tefyo na mutefyo na pangile chalo na pangilo chalo tulabuleka lenshi umutende mulete mwana mulendo rutampolunga promo. That's what we stand for, and that's why as at now we are the NDC and not him. Him, I could tell him to be a lost sheep.
Efforts to get Dr. Kambwili to comment on these issues could not materialize by broadcast time. Patrick Soko, Camnet News.
President Edgar Lungu's eligibility is back in court. This time around, United Party for National Development Katuba Member of Parliament Bampi Kapalasa wants the Constitutional Court to interpret the constitutional provisions of President Edgar Lungu's eligibility. Mr. Kapalasa has made an application for the interpretation of the expunged provision of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia as to whether the current Republican President Edgar Lungu is eligible to run for what he believes is President Edgar Lungu's third bid term, while taking into consideration Article 106 and Cap B of 2016 of the Constitution of Zambia and Articles 35, Cap 1 and Cap 2 of the 1996 Constitution. More in this report.
In 2018, the Constitutional Court had ruled in favor of President Edgar Lungu that he was eligible to contest the 2021 general elections. The court, in its judgment, ruled that the presidential tenure from 25th January 2015 to 13 September 2016 does not constitute a full term of office. The court had relied on Article 106, Sub-Article 1 and Article 106, Sub-Article 6 of the 2016 Constitution. However, debate over his eligibility seems to be the story of the day, as the case has been taken back to court, this time around Katuba Member of Parliament Bampi Kapalasa seeking an interpretation of the provision concerning the eligibility of the President from the Constitutional Court. His argument is that the petition before court is in the interest of the Zambian people. According to him, the application borders on the well-being of Zambians and surrounding countries and intended to avoid violence in the country. The petitioner has made an application for the interpretation of the expunged provision of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia that has to whether the current President Edgar Lungu is eligible to run for the third term while taking into consideration Article 106, 1, 3A, 6A and B of 2016 of the Constitution of Zambia and Article 35, 1 and 2 of the 1996 Constitution. The Member of Parliament says the Constitution of Zambia is not clear whether Article 35, 1 and 2 of the old Constitution as amended by Article number 18 of 2006 was saved in respect of allowing or disallowing the current President Edgar Lungu to run for president of 2 full terms under the new amendment Constitution. He notes that the current Constitution was amended on 5th January 2016 and thereby greatly altering the 1996 Constitution as amended by Act number 18 of 1996, which used to regulate the first presidency of President Edgar Lungu, which the 1996 Constitution had limited without exception. He says there are no transitional provisions in the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia as amended by Act number 2 of 2016 that imposed the conditions in the old Constitution to the present Constitution and therefore leaving the applicant and the general public of Zambia confused as to whether actions taken under the old Constitution can be taken under the new Constitution. Further, Mr. Kapalasa says in the interest of justice, the petitioner must be expeditiously heard and a positive interpretation of the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia is made to settle the minds of people living in and around Zambia. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
United Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia UPPZ President Charles Chanda has charged that there is need to give people equal opportunities and privileges when running the country. Mr. Chanda says it is essential that those who play a key role in the development of the country are also recognized and given the much needed privileges. Meanwhile, the UPPZ leader and his daughter appeared before court in a case in which they They have been charged with 134 counts of obtaining money by false pretenses. Allegations are that the two, between the 1st of January 2018 and the 31st of August 2019, obtained 3,922,997 kwacha from complainants on pretext that they were selling subdivision of Charlesdale when in fact not.
A state witness told Magistrate Alice Walusiko Tuesday morning that he feels cheated by UPPZ president, that after paying for a plot, the land was never given to him, nor was he refunded. Stephen Bewe, an airport employee who works under the security department, as an investigation officer, testified that all he wants is his money back. He was testifying in a case in which United, Prosperous and Peaceful Zambia President Charles Chanda and his daughter Esther Chanda are facing 134 counts of obtaining money by false pretense, an offense which they denied committing. Mr. Mbewe, in his testimony, told the court that the total amount he paid for the land in question, which up to date has not been given to him, was 27,000 kwacha. He explained that after settling everything, confusion arose, alleging that the land did not belong to the accused person, but when they inquired from him on the way forward, he promised to resolve the issue, to which he did not. Allegations in this case are that Mr. Chanda and his daughter, between 1st January 2018 and 31st August 2019, obtained different amounts of money from different complainants on pretext that they were selling subdivision of Charlesdale when in fact not. Meanwhile, speaking shortly after his court appearance, Mr. Chanda had this to say.
Refused to pay a chief and you are saying, no, this chief is not gazetted, this headman is not gazetted. I mean, that kind of treatment of leadership, we want to stop it, because you need to give people equal opportunities and equal privileges. The most important leaders in the history of this country are our traditional leaders. This is why, I mean, look at it. A member of parliament will be elected in a village setup by village voters, and he gets gratuity, he gets a 4x4, he gets a huge sum of money, and my own chief, and you call that one a sub-chief. It doesn't make sense, because our NRC has no provision whether it's gazetted or ungazetted. A chief is a chief, and I'm saying we as UPPZ, we want to restore dignity to our traditional leaders.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Lusaka Magistrate Court has committed a 47-year-old police officer to the Lusaka High Court for allegedly shooting dead a person. This is in a case in which Mazuva Mwinga of Shimabala Police Camp is facing one count of the murder of Hilary Kapyanga. The murder suspect police officer, who appeared before Magistrate Alice Walusiku for explanation of the charge, was immediately committed to the High Court following instructions from the Director of Public Prosecutions. Details in the case allege that on the 20th of July 2020, Mwinga stopped a truck near Kafue Toll Plaza while dressed in civil and carrying an AK-47, ordered the truck driver to stop the vehicle and came out with his two passengers. But when the victims got out of the vehicle, they started running towards the toll plaza seeking for help from the officer at the toll gate, as they did not know he was a police officer. The accused, however, did not think twice but pointed his gun towards the victim and fired 2 shots. And moving on in the news, the Ministry of Health has announced that Zambia's COVID-19 vaccination campaign will be launched Wednesday, the 14th of April 2021. Health Minister Dr. Jonas Janda says the frontline workers will be the first ones to receive the vaccine, followed by other priority populations who are most at risk. Dr. Chanda explains that this is because frontline workers have to be protected against those that are sick of the disease, hence the need to start with them. He adds that there will be no mandatory vaccination in the country, but those who will volunteer, among them teachers, politicians, the clergy and security personnel, will also be put in the category.
The Zambia COVID-19 vaccination campaign or program will be launched tomorrow, Wednesday, 14th April 2021, here in Lusaka, and the details will be provided. As guided by Cabinet in the approved vaccine program for Zambia, the health workers who are leading the fight against COVID-19 will be among the first to receive the vaccine, followed by other priority populations most at risk. The frontline health workers must be protected so that they can manage those who have fallen prey. We also vaccinate those who are volunteering, who are in charge of core societal functions like security personnel, teachers, traditional leaders, the clergy, immigration staff, and other mobile populations, including cross-border traders, truck drivers, public transport staff, those aged above 65 years or with underlying comorbidities, as well as those political leaders who may come forward. All consenting adults above 18 years of age in Zambia are targeted for vaccination, but this, as indicated earlier, will be done in a cautious, voluntary, and phased-up manner and on a pilot basis. So in short, there will be no mandatory vaccination in Zambia.
The Ministry of National Development Planning is undertaking consultations with various stakeholders to build consensus on priority areas to be addressed in the 8th National Development Plan period. Speaking during the official opening of the stakeholders consultative meeting on the formulation of the 8th National Development Plan, Deputy Secretary to the Cabinet for Finance and Economic Development, Mike Masie, says the consultations are taking a whole of society's approach in line with the spirit of not leaving anyone behind in the sustainable development discourse of the country. At the meeting, Mr. Masie revealed that the 8th National Development Plan formulation process is in the analysis and priority setting phase, which follows the formulation of the 8th National Development Plan concept note and the development of the 8th National Development Plan issue paper. He says government has so far identified the development issues, their causes and effects. The 8th National Development Plan is a blueprint that will guide the nation's development plan for the next 5 years once finalized. And MNDP Permanent Secretary Chola Chavala says no one will be left behind in this process.
Is in the priority phase. This follows the formulation of the 8th National Development Plan concept note and the issues paper. Up to now, we have identified the development issues, their causes, and also effects. The input and active participation in this meeting will go a long way in shaping the perspectives and feeding into the next National Development Plan. The ministry is also open to receiving more oral and written submissions. At this point, I wish to thank all stakeholders who have submitted both oral and written submissions since the time we had interactions on the 8th National Development Plan issue paper.
Plans are a key guiding development document for our country. It is imperative that stakeholders are involved in the process of developing the plan. And therefore, the purpose of this meeting is necessary to get views from stakeholders. There are various issues that affect each of your constituencies. And we're going to speak with passion and with integrity and with the straightforwardness, so much so that we help this country move forward.
A non-governmental organization called Pamozi Ndiye Ana has handed over a 1x3 classroom block at Chalumbe Day Secondary constructed at a total cost of 600,000 kwacha. The construction of the classroom block has seen Chalumbe Primary School upgraded to a secondary school. Acting Eastern Province Education Officer Matthew Chunga says the construction of the classroom block by Pamozi Ndiye Ana is aimed at supplementing government's efforts of ensuring that good quality education is accessed by children in all rural parts of the country. Zenis has more in this report.
A good quality education must be easily accessed by children in all communities as a human right. A non-governmental organization based in Chipata called Pamozi Ndiye Ana has handed over a 1x3 classroom block which cost 600,000 kwacha to be constructed. Eastern Province Acting Education Officer Matthew Chunga graced the event.
It is the desire of government to ensure that every child has access to education of quality. In the quest for government to achieve this goal, there is need for other partners like Pamozi Ndiye Ana to come on board and help government. This is the only way we are going to accomplish the 7th National Development Plan's desire for multi-sectoral approach and not leaving anyone behind. I am reliably informed that today we are not only receiving a 1x3 classroom block, but actually a fully finished classroom, each with desks.
This is Pamozi Ndiye Ana Director Enrico Carreta.
Per the 25% contribution, zona di ina nasebenza ndito. Anasebenza tipata bricks, sand, stone, crushed stone, so amatora pitie tikomo. Yamene njira tifuna kuti chitukuko chimachitike. Usa bwerere kumbuyo kutitigirizane na tizitandize.
Chief Mshawa of the Ngoni-speaking people in Chipangali district commended the NGO for the gesture.
Na njibe ku ma reduction ya edi marriage kairi bana lomba bakoku kuza pano pa Chalumbe kuzophunzira. Ndiposo nziba kuti since 1950 Tenzevye secondary school. Koma lero mulungu wayankha kapaka effort yanu mose muli pano sizi zachitika.
And earlier, Chipangali District Commissioner Peter Msimko implored other stakeholders to come on board and emulate Pamozi Ndiye Ana's effort of promoting education for children.
We are a new district with a lot of needs. For this structure and many others that we have done, including Kaulembe, we thank you. Please understand us. We don't have the correct words, even the much effort together, but we really thank you for what you have done.
Sylvester Shimba for the news in Chipata District, Eastern Province.
We take our first set of commercials. To stay with us as we still have more interesting stories lined up for you.
You know I can take her a bit.
Yes, my dear.
I was thinking of getting you a Bugatti on your birthday.
Really?
I'm quiet. My name is Yana.
Don't worry, man. That's why there is insurance.
Insurance?
You heard me.
Not just any kind of insurance, but Savenda General Insurance, a company that offers superior customer service, highly professional and dedicated staff. We are not just any insurance company, but an insurance company that actually pays our claims. We cover, among others, fire, marine, aviation, engineering, agriculture, motor vehicle, and miscellaneous insurance. So, live life to the full, knowing that Savenda General Insurance has got you covered. Savenda General Insurance. Insurance excellence.
Happy Generation Professional College is currently enrolling for the July intake 2021 in the following programs: Diploma in Nursing, Diploma in Secondary Teaching Education, Diploma in Information Communication Technology, Diploma in Business, For more details, you can call 0972 04 2020, 0972 917061 or 0977 809772. Application form is 150 kwacha.
"2021 has been described as a highly politically charged year. This is because every 5 years the country goes to the polls, and that 5 years elapses. With only a few months remaining down to the ballot, the battlefield to appear on the ballot is becoming fertile. A lot of people are expressing interest of appearing on the ballot.
In all this, our interest is to put the duty bearers, the leaders, and those aspiring to task by asking the relevant questions.
If you're an aspiring candidate, be it councillor, mayor, or member of parliament, get in touch with us to get yourself on the verdict.
We go beyond speculation in dealing with policy and governance issues. The right questions are asked to help you make a verdict.
For more details, you can call us on 0962 965883, 0979 753010, or email us info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Join us on Camnet TV
every Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 17:45 hours
on a new program dubbed The Verdict.
Remember that Camnet TV is not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. Retirees of 1999 Tuesday stormed State House in their quest to demand for the payment of their pension funds. By broadcast time, a check by Camnet TV found retirees at the entrance of State House holding placards revealing their displeasure over government's failure to pay them their dues. The retirees peacefully marched from Cabinet Office to State House to seek an audience with President Edgar Lungu. They alert police officers in riot gear were seen keeping vigil of the situation. A Camnet TV news crew could not, however, engage the retirees due to the heavy police presence. And moving on in the news, Konkola Copper Mines and Changa contractors from all contracting companies downed Tuesday and gathered at Watson Stadium in a peaceful sitting protest demanding for the unpaid 4-month salary arrears, among other workers' conditions. The workers, who were visibly seen chanting slogans, also demanded an increase in salaries from the average $1,500 per month to at least $5,000, as well as consideration for permanent employment. The protesting workers, who sought the attention of the KCM liquidator Medingo Lungu, were denied audience and later dispersed by police. Details are that arrests have been made. However, police has not confirmed this development by broadcast time. The National Union Miners and Allied Workers, NUMAO, has held President Edgar Lungu for the commitment that he has shown so far in handling of the mining activities in the country. NUMAO President James CHANSA says the desire of the workers at Konkola Copper Mines has been made with very clear evidence of them getting their terminal benefits. Mr. CHANSA points out that what President Lungu's administration has done at Mopani Copper Mines, where 100% shares is in government's hands through ZCCM-IH, is commendable. Speaking with Camnet TV News, the Labour leader says the union is expecting to quickly announce the strategic partner that must work with Mopani Copper Mines. Mr. CHANSA is hopeful that government will consider paying the employees their terminal benefits.
Also to look at what government has done at Mopani, where as we stand today, 100% shares is in government hands through ZCCM Investment Holding. This is the confidence that everyone has been looking for. As we enter phase 2 at Mopani, we expect government to quickly announce the strategic partner that must work with them. At the same time, because of their flexibility, they accepted us, the unions, to negotiate with Mopani Copper Mines to the point where we agreed a 15% increment. This is awesome because for some time we have not achieved such an increment. I'm also very hopeful that as we look at phase 2, government may consider paying Mopani employees their terminal benefits. The biggest issue that we are all looking for is to see the two mines, Mopani and KCM, fixed so that this may contribute handsomely to the well-being of our economy. And we are very hopeful that at that point, Zambia is likely to get the #1 slot in Africa in as far as productivity is concerned.
The World Youth and Leadership Foundation is calling for a strong partnership between the government and non-governmental organizations in supporting youth-led projects across the country if Zambia is to reduce the high youth unemployment levels, political violence, drug and alcohol abuse. Zambia is one of the countries in Southern Africa that is facing high youth unemployment, the youths being the majority of the general population, standing at 52.5%, according to the Central Statistical Office CSO 2020. Foundation Director General Nalishebo Nyambe observed that since independence, Zambia has been politically free without any record of war, making it a good country for its citizens to participate in economic development and achieve economic freedom. He has encouraged youths across the country to join the organization and partner with it to provide community-based projects, training and developmental programs for all.
The increasing population has made a lot of people to remain unemployed because we youths, we are not involved in production. We are not involved in creating industries that will employ our children and employ ourselves. And therefore, if we do not quickly arrest this vice, we are expected to lose more youths to drug abuse, more youths to alcohol, more youths to violence, because youths have remained vulnerable. They do not have opportunities. So how do we do it? We have ourselves youths, we have power, we have strength, we have the possibilities. If we can all just partner with the government as well as non-government organizations, we can reduce youth unemployment levels within short period of time. So we are calling for youths, government, to partner and develop youth-led projects so that the country can have its youths start producing, start manufacturing, start being involved, get involved in agriculture and other economic drivers, activities that will develop the economy of the country.
Nearly 800 women and youth entrepreneurs have completed an innovative U.S. government-funded entrepreneurship project that supports women empowerment and inclusive economic development in Zambia. The one-year cocoa project implemented by the Women Entrepreneurship Access Center through a 6.2 million kwacha grant from the U.S. government provided training to 769 early-stage entrepreneurs from Kuku, Chawama, Mtendere and other Lusaka communities. The entrepreneurs received business training in a broad range of fields based on their interests, including agro-processing, renewable energy, videography, tailoring, carpentry and bricklaying. Upon conclusion of the project, U.S. Embassy Charge d'Affaires David Young stated the Kuku project highlights the U.S. government's commitment to economic prosperity and job creation. The organization executive director Nambula Kachumi says the outbreak of the COVID-19 has posed a major threat to small businesses in Zambia, contributing to the rapid spike in unemployment rate, thus noting the need for concerted efforts in investing in community-based skills projects. We take another set of commercials. Do stay with us as we still have international and sports news.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Well, Amwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing. Don't tell me.
Yes! I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962-642-490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
It's your friends.
I insist.
Your drama.
Do you think you can talk about my dad like that? You were in charge.
And intrigue.
Are you out for good or what? What do you want? Dare you say that to me, eh?
Your heroes. It's your moment with your stories. Made at home for your home. 'Cause great stories start on DSTV.
Making GoTV payments is easier than you think. But first, you have to log in. First of all, open the GoTV app, then select your country. Fill in your surname or cell phone number, and then your IUC number. That's it. You can log in. Welcome to your home page. Now click on Pay Now. Select Make a Payment. Next, you will be asked how much you wish to pay. You can do this by clicking on the space next to the kwacha sign and entering the desired amount. All the details of your payment, including account details and amount you are paying, will appear. Make sure everything is in order. Now click on the Ting button under Choose Payment option. When the Ting window pops up, click on OK and then Pay Now. Now, select Preferred Card Payment or Mobile Money option. When the Make a Payment window opens, click on the pink Pay Now button. Now, you simply authorize the payment by clicking on Send Prompt, which will send a prompt to your mobile number. Once you've received the prompt on your phone, simply enter the unique PIN and you are done. GoTV. Love it.
Are you a qualified, impartial and professional journalist, news editor, video editor or newscaster? Camnet TV is looking for more professionals in the media industry. For more details, call 0962 965883 or send your details to our email info@camnettvafrica.com. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, after more than 18 months in detention, Egypt has freed prominent descendant journalist and politician KHALED DAWOUD, a former head of the liberal opposition Al-Dosta party and a senior journalist for the English edition of state newspaper Al-Arham. DAWOUD was arrested in September 2019 as part of a tough crackdown down by Egyptian security forces amid rare anti-government protests. At around 5 p.m. on Monday, a police official informed them that the prosecutor had decided to release him, said Hisham Yunus, a member of Egypt's press club, on Tuesday. He got out around midnight. No charges were brought against him. Lawyer and rights activist KHALED Ali said on Facebook that prosecution decided to free DAWOUD. KHALED left prison and was taken to state security. He retrieved his car and went home, where he is now with his family. DAWOUD, who is an adjunct professor of journalism at the American University of Cairo, was arrested when a wave of protests sent shockwaves through Egypt and demonstrators called for the removal of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. The vocal critic was accused of collaborating with a terrorist organization, publishing false information, and misusing social media, charges often leveled against descendants. In other news, the brother of George Floyd, a black American man who died as former police officer Derek Chauvin put his knee on his neck, has testified on the 11th day of his trial. Phenolonsi Floyd cried as he described his older brother George as a family man who loved his siblings and was especially close to his late mother, but as a police officer shot another unarmed black man dead in the same state. Chauvin's lawyer asked the judge to isolate the jury, but the judge denied the request. Al Jazeera has a roundup.
The witness for the prosecution testified to the life lost when George Floyd drew his last breath. I can breathe. Beneath a police officer's knee.
People would attend church just because he was there. Nobody would go out there until they seen him. And he just was like a person that everybody loved around the community. He just knew how to make people feel better.
A unique spark of life doctrine in Minnesota allows prosecutors to humanize crime victims like George Floyd, as his brother Phenolonsi did, as the prosecution showed pictures of his slain brother. Prosecutors began day 11 in the murder trial of former police officer Derek Chauvin with a cardiologist who laid the blame for George Floyd's death directly on Chauvin, saying his knee starved Floyd of oxygen and stopped his heart.
In this case, Mr. George Floyd died from a cardiopulmonary arrest. It was caused by low oxygen levels, and those low oxygen levels were induced by the prone restraint and positional asphyxiation that he was subjected to.
Dr. Jonathan Rich ruled out the defense's alternative theory, an overdose of the fentanyl and methamphetamine, an autopsy found in Floyd's system. If not for the officers holding him down, he said, Floyd would have survived the encounter. After the shooting of another unarmed black man just 16 kilometers from the site of the trial in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, Chauvin's lawyer asked the judge to sequester or isolate the jury. The fear is that they'd be unduly prejudiced or might be inclined to convict Chauvin to avoid more civil unrest. But the judge said no.
I'm going to deny the motion to sequester the jury and for additional voir dire. This is a totally different case.
After 2 weeks of prosecution witnesses, the defense begins to present its case on Tuesday, and it's likely to be a short one. The judge says he expects it to be over in time for closing arguments on Monday. And when that happens, he says the jury will be sequestered until they render a verdict. As they deliberate, prosecutors hope they'll reflect on the man Chauvin is accused of killing.
He showed us how to treat our mom and how to respect our mom. He loved her so dearly. When we went to the funeral, it's just, George just sat there at the casket over and over again. He would just say, Mama, Mama, over and over again.
It's not likely to be lost on the jury that those are also among Floyd's last words as he lay on the pavement.
Mama, I love you.
Evidence, the prosecution is likely to suggest in its closing arguments, that George Floyd wasn't suffering from a heart attack or a drug overdose, but knew that he was taking his last breaths as his life was being choked out of him.
With just 8 months before Libya's planned elections, the governments in Tripoli and Ankara have much to do. The head of the new unity government, Abdulhamid Dbeibeh, is tasked with rebuilding Libya. He pointed out Turkey's crucial role for Libya's stability.
We express our will of cooperation with Turkey in security rebuilding capacities based on the needs of the Libyan government. Turkey's role in achieving a permanent ceasefire and stopping war in our country is important.
Both Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and Libyan Prime Minister Dbeibeh said they want to strengthen ties, especially in construction, energy production, transportation and the health sector. They also reiterated their commitment to the previous agreement over the maritime borders in Mediterranean.
We've always regarded the Mediterranean Sea as a base for peace and prosperity. The maritime deal which we've signed with Libya is securing the national interests and future of both countries. My dear brother Mr. Dbeibeh has also reiterated many times that this agreement serves Libya's national interests.
The Turkish president also pledged to send 150,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccine to Libya and establish a pandemic hospital in the country. Ankara and Tripoli are keen to bolster existing strong ties with so many stakeholders in the country, from Egypt, Turkey and UAE to Greece, Italy and France. The Libyan government will need to navigate relations subtly in order to rebuild the fragile nation. Resul Serdar, Al Jazeera, Istanbul.
We now get into sports news. And in sports news, City of Lusaka Football Club announced on Tuesday, the 13th of April 2021, that the club has parted ways with head coach Veselin Julusic. It was mutually agreed for coach Julusic to leave in order to attend to personal matters of an urgent nature. YAMOTO General Manager Justin Palmer said coach Vesco's contribution to the progression of City during his tenure is commendable. The club has meanwhile brought in Chipolo Polo AFCON champion Isaac CHANSA as the new head coach of City of Lusaka. City Chairman John Bamumba said City of Lusaka is in strong position to gain promotion with 12 league games remaining. The new head coach will took on his first training session this morning, Tuesday the 13th of April 2021, as he jumps into action ahead of Yamoto's Week 23 match against Zesco Shockers on Saturday. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. President Edgar Lungu's eligibility case back in court. UPND challenges PF General Conference. Formulation of the 8th National Development Plan on course. And in international news, Egyptian journalist KHALED DAWOUD freed from jail. And in sports news, Isaac CHANSA appointed as YAMOTO head coach. We now look at the Camnet verse of the day, which is coming from the book of Psalms 46 verse 10 to 11, and it reads, "Stop your fighting and know that I am God, exalted among the nations, exalted on the earth. Yahweh of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our stronghold." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.